CE, Common Era. Half a world away, the Iceni queen on the island of Britain, Buddica, took up the mantle of warrior for her people, a woman who makes Xena, warrior princess, look like a pacifist. The Iceni had once welcomed the Romans, seeing them as a powerful and potentially beneficial ally during the early expeditions by Caesar. However, in the later colonial efforts, the Roman made enemies among the Britannia tribes, including those who had offered alliances to Caesar in the years before by forcing economic and political arrangements that only benefited Rome. Increased oppression over the years would lead to a number of rebellions, large and small, but none created such fear as Buddica's. When her husband died, he left behind a will that named the Roman emperor co-heir with his 2 teenage daughters. His hope had been that this would protect his people by maintaining some of their power, but also please Rome by giving them a piece of it as well. However, Rome had no interest in obeying the will of a dead king, and claimed the entirety of the tribe's lands as their own. Soon, the Romans showed up to take their lands, and when Buddica objected, she was mercilessly flogged in front of her people. Far worse, her daughters, heirs to the throne, were dragged in front of her and raped. Buddica rose up and avenged her own family as well as her tribal family. She gained support from surrounding tribes who band together to free themselves from the Roman menace. Some argued that she used false omens and potentially even witchcraft to convince others to follow her, though that comes mainly from Roman historians. The invention of conspiracy theories, perhaps. Thanks a lot, Romans. Soon, she led her united tribal armies against Roman colonial towns. Brutality was clearly not just a Roman tactic, as her armies were known to brutalize the population, even burning down a Roman temple with hundreds inside. Her pattern of success seemed marked by a blaze of glory as she destroyed multiple Roman and Roman allied towns, to the point that Roman officials had no choice but to attack. 10,000 Romans confronted Buddica and her people at an unknown location. When they met, she supposedly had an army of 230,000. But it's quite clear that this is an example of inflation to make Rome's military look unbelievably superior. It's very likely that Buddica had a larger force, but many of her forces would have been untrained or ill-equipped compared to the professional Roman forces. Still, it's said that Buddica's forces consisted of men and women, young and old, following her and her daughter's carriage into battle. According to Tacitus, she rode in front of her people on a chariot with her daughters, avenging not as a queen of glorious ancestry, her tarnished realm and power, but as a woman of the people, her liberty lost, her body tortured by the flesh, the tarnished honor of her daughters. The Roman cupidity had progressed so far that not their very persons, not the age itself, nor maidenhood were left unpolluted. Unfortunately, her forces would be routed by the Roman legionaries, and Buddica, like Cleopatra, would choose suicide over capture. She still remains a symbol of freedom, unity, and courage in British culture. Her statue stands ironically in the very city she burned down, London.